Joining us from Washington, John Dickerson, chief political correspondent for Slate.com. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
Okay, so much for a fun, light interview on The Tonight Show. Sounded great right up until the point where the president makes a flippant comment about the Special Olympics. Obviously, it's not sitting well right now. Does he need to make an apology?
He probably does need to make an apology. You know, the whole point of this interview was to show him in an easy, winning environment where he could kind of remind people that he was this human person. And this sort of boneheaded remark, which reminds me of the one he made about Nancy Reagan and seances before he was even president, just kind of gets in the way of that message.
Let me ask you about the interview in itself. AIG has been the headlines all week, the economy, everything. Aside from the Special Olympic comment, critics say the president should be just focusing on the economy in Washington instead of filling out NCAA brackets and fielding, questions like, what's it like to fly on Air Force One from Jay Leno. Do you agree?
Well, the president can do a lot of things at once. The problem is he's under attack for doing too many things at once. And so this feeds into that criticism. But, he's been on the case. And what the White House doesn't want to do is make him look like he's in a bunker and make him look like he's in kind of a defensive crouch. The Leno thing was scheduled before the AIG bonuses, and I imagine if they'd stepped back and not done the show, that would have created an even bigger chaos and panic environment.
Speaking of AIG, front page of the New York Times today, also front page of the Washington Post, the House approving a 90% tax on bonuses after bailouts. How is this going to be received, and is this going to be the headline today?
It is the headline. It'll be well received by everybody who's been expressing outrage. That's been the word of the week in Washington this week. And there are some reservations from people who say that, that this tax is too broad. It goes to all kinds of different institutions. But not many people, particularly politicians, are going to be making that case in public because, the polls show that people want scalps. And this bill goes some way towards getting that money back.
Speaking of people wanting scalps, Tim Geithner, Chris Dodd, two gentlemen that have been in the headlines the last 2 days. Does the senator take more heat? Does Timothy Geithner take more? I mean, who is to blame here? I know everybody wants to finger point, but who's really under fire here? Are any jobs at stake?
Well, these guys are both taking a pounding. Senator Dodd's job may be at stake when it comes to the election, and he's trying to say, look, I had nothing to do with this provision that allowed these bonuses to go forward. Secretary Geithner had to come out and say, well, indeed, that's true. But he had to come out and say this after a few days of back and forth and infighting. There is chaos. Remember, Barack Obama was supposed to be the no-drama president, and there is a great deal of drama. When a president has to come out and say, I stand by my Treasury Secretary, that's emergency language in Washington. And so that means that Secretary Geithner is still in a tough pinch.
Yeah, when they say, we support you fully, it's bring out the paddles at that point. All right, John Dickerson, chief political correspondent for Slate.com. John, thank you. We appreciate it.